June 1978, Coventry Township, Ohio. 18-year-old Steven Hicks didn't come home one night. His parents figured he had simply stayed out late. But as the days passed with no sign of him, his family's concerns grew immensely. Steven Hicks never came home. As a little boy, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't shown any love or affection. Growing up, he started fantasizing about dominating and controlling completely submissive men. It began during his childhood, where his father worked long hours as a research chemist, and his mother suffered from depression, which likely meant they gave Dahmer very little to no attention at all. When his parents divorced in 1978, Dahmer's father, mother, and younger brother all moved out, leaving Dahmer alone in the family's house in Bath Township, a northern suburb of Akron, Ohio. Dahmer always had a fantasy of picking up a hitchhiker and bringing him home. Now it was his chance. His fantasy was about to become a reality. While he was driving one day, not too far away from home, Dahmer spotted a young man hitchhiking down the road. He stopped and started talking with the hitchhiker.
Hey, can I get a lift? I'm trying to get to a concert in Chippewa Lake Park. Are you headed that way?
It could be.
That hitchhiker was Steven Hicks. After a short conversation, Dahmer was able to lure Hicks back to his family's home. This was the beginning of the monster. At Dahmer's home, they had a few beers, smoked weed, and lifted some weights. Dahmer's attraction to Hicks grew, and his dark fantasies began taking over. Dahmer was drunk. His fantasy was in the making, and he decided to act on his impulses. He then leaned in towards Hicks and kissed him on the lips. Hicks was shocked, confused, uncomfortable, and wanted to leave.
What the fuck? Jesus, I'm out of here, man. I'm gonna miss the fucking show now. Fucking asshole faggot.
When Hicks tried to leave, Dahmer struck him with a barbell, strangled him, and then cut up his body. He later scattered Hicks's bones and remains around the yard. Hicks's parents finally learned the truth about their 18-year-old son's disappearance 13 years later, when Jeffrey Dahmer admitted to beating him with a barbell, strangling him, and dismembering his body. Hicks was the first of 17 men that Dahmer killed, dismembered, and in some instances, cannibalized and engaged in sex acts with their corpses. But after killing Hicks in 1978, Dahmer waited nearly a decade before murdering his next victim, a common behavior for serial killers. Dahmer's abnormal sexual desires mostly centered on keeping or possessing a male love object. He wasn't interested in the killing itself, but rather, he murdered men as a way of ensuring they would not leave him, then acted out his sexual fantasies with their corpses. Fueled by his desires, Dahmer also turned to other forms of inanimate companionship, mannequins or corpses recently buried in cemeteries. Dahmer's extreme lengths to avoid rejection came in the form of engaging in fantasies about being with people who were not alive, who wouldn't reject him. Hicks was just 18 at the time of his murder. He had recently graduated from Coventry High School, which created the Steven Hicks Scholarship after his death. Friends and family members described Hicks as warm, friendly, and compassionate. Following Hicks's disappearance, his parents did everything in their power to find him, even going so far as to hire a private detective and offer a $2,500 reward for information leading to their son. They finally got closure when Dahmer was arrested in Milwaukee in 1991. After Dahmer admitted to the killing, investigators found Hicks's teeth and bone fragments around Dahmer's childhood home. Jeffrey Dahmer was eventually sentenced to 16 life sentences, which is the equivalent to 957 years in prison. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, kindly subscribe to our channel and check out the next video in front of you. See you there.